All right, just adjusting it. Oh.
So here we go. Our crew has discovered that turning on engines or getting on a radio gets an alien death sentence sent your way in the form of a hot plasma beam that will punch holes through vehicles. And they've seen some of the heavy artillery the enemy can bring to bear, and they don't even want to know what could come out of that tank gun. So let's catch up, as our heroes have been reduced down to using bicycles in order to survive. Can they out-pedal the rising floodwaters? Let's see.
So now we know you sailboat, flashlights, semi-driving. We know our list of survival skills
We
were
should
short.
probably get. I still think the boat thing, because we can. The water level's going up, and pretty soon.
Florida's going to be flooded. So.
Yeah. I think we cautiously make our way. As soon as we get to the intercoastal, we only need to get to the intercoastal. We don't need to get to the ocean. As soon as we get to the intercoastal, which shouldn't be much longer, we look for the first boat that we can get, and we just start making our way north on that boat.
All right. Oh, and before I forget, I guess I'll do a GM fact drop. Florida is like a low hill, so it technically can never get completely flooded, but its coastline would shrink.
Sure, yeah.
So at some point it would just be a much more narrow peninsula versus just completely being submerged.
Okay.
Good to know. Yes, this is true.
But I guess your characters wouldn't know that now. But
No, I mean, inland would be a little safer, but we still have to go to South Florida because it's all low lying.
exactly.
Okay, so we make our way
Okay.
to Atlantic, then we make our way east to the intercoastal.
Okay. And you're making your way to the intercoastal.
Or even a tributary of the intercoastal. Wherever we find a boat, we can get to the intercoastal.
You are getting to those little places where, you know, there's the big houses, right? Abutting the canal that's part of the intercoastal.
That's what we want. Yeah.
And you're there, and you guys, or I guess, are jumping in the fence, getting into the house.
Yep.
Okay. And then you get outside, and oh, look. There's a, oh, wait. Okay, that boat's like this. That boat's like this.
Oh, they're all capsized and messed up.
And there is one, and it's floating high. In fact, the actual canal is like basically getting into the backyard.
Okay.
So the whole, it's like sea level is rising.
Yeah, that's our boat.
Alright, so we're going to make our way to that boat.
Okay. You get on that boat, it's still tied up. In fact, it's getting to the point where it looks like you can hear that creaking of that rope. It's getting strained.
Okay, we got it. Does it have a key? Like, can we start this boat?
Yeah, there's a, I have to admit, I'm not so familiar with actual boats.
I think they have keys.
Some may have keys, some may not.
Some just have the little thing.
That's right. But this is a kind of a nice...
Yeah, it's a power boat with a throttle and all that good stuff. So, okay, so we untie.
But do we want to turn the engine on, or do we want to try to...
Well, it doesn't... This is an ocean-going boat. I mean, it doesn't have a trolling motor or anything, does it? It just has like an outboard, like a...
Outboard, yeah, it's not a sailing boat.
Okay. I mean, we'll idle speed. That won't make that much noise. See what happens.
Is it annoying?
Yeah, so I feel
Might
like
be the vibrations.
It's just the actual like electronic device.
Which way's the water flowing?
Well, it's actually flowing inland. If you guys don't move it soon, the boat is going to be abutting.
I find it a little entertaining that some of the states in our union have a particular cliche when it comes to science fiction. Like New York has the idea that New York City will just become a big prison, or that everybody in Montana is going to survive because they're all gun nuts. But Florida especially seems to have this cliche that it will be flooded and completely gone off the map if ocean waters rise. And like I state, that's actually impossible because Florida is basically one huge hill. It will shrink, but by the time you actually get Florida underwater, there'll be a lot more of America underwater as well. And just for your edification for those who aren't in Florida, that's why we have the Everglades, which is known as the slowest moving river in the world, because the land is just so low that it's just kind of like right there at sea level. But the Everglades are freshwater, just to let you know. I mean, somebody could potentially drown in the Everglades, but on a geological scale, It's just a very fine sliver right there at the edge. So that's your GM fact drop of the day.
Because it's following the current in. Basically, you're getting some flooding going on at this point. Which will be interesting navigation.
Yeah. I mean, we have to move somehow.
Gotta move north. Just
Chance for motor.
Yeah,
take it slow.
maybe the motor noise will be dissipated through, because these things are all on land so far. Maybe they hear the air vibrations. Well, let's just chance it. We haven't tried a boat yet, so let's
Yeah.
start the motor up. Very
Okay.
low throttle. Well, we untie it, obviously. We get on at very low throttle, and we put out into a deeper channel
Okay.
and make our way north.
All right, so
We're going slow. We're going like no wake speed.
really slow, and you're kind of getting there. You think you're in a channel. It's getting harder and harder to tell because you're starting to get to the treetops. And as you're getting down that canal, you start hearing a buzzing in the air, and you're looking around and you see flying rods are kind of pulling up out of the water and starting to get closer to the boat.
How big is this boat? I didn't even think.
Does it have like an enclosed shelter?
It does. It is. It's kind of it's a decent sized boat. It's like a small yacht.
Okay.
Sort
We
of.
gotta cut
So
power.
we're inside of this thing, obviously.
You can close doors and windows.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna
We
do.
should cut the power and
Good.
And get
get
inside.
inside to where we're safe,
Okay.
where they can't get in.
All we're gonna do is bob around. Nothing should happen. Hopefully.
All right. You get in, and basically, at some point, you can't even see out the windows. It's just there's this mass.
They're all over the boat.
They're like all over the boat. Are you guys looking out the windows, or?
But all I can see is these stupid rods on the windows, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of trying to peek out the window. But it doesn't
Okay.
do anything.
Can we go like below the water level? Like,
Are there portals below the water level? Is this a fancy boat?
No.
Or do you-
There's no glass bottom. And then suddenly the boat tips a little bit.
Uh-oh. They're rocking.
Like, do we feel something from underneath that's tipping it, or
It's
it's
like something like it's like it's subtle, but you can feel like it's dipped a little bit in the back.
like something
then-
on the boat?
Yeah, like something's pulling. Something heavy has dragged the boat down for a moment,
Oh man, that sucks.
and then it stopped, and then you can hear.
Like on the deck?
Yes.
If there's one thing I wish I had on hand, it would be something like a special effects soundboard. Because, it's difficult to make menacing sounds when all you've got sometimes is your voice and maybe playing around at the table. It can be done, and I've had people say they were creeped out by what I was doing, but they were really, really in the moment. And for every one person you get in the moment, there might be another person at the table that's completely thrown out of it because they see you knocking on the table for sound effects. It's kind of a catch-22. And I mean, with today's technology, you could potentially do something, but it takes a lot of effort to collect all those sound clips and organize them to be ready at a moment's notice. A perfect example of that is I have a funny little app that will let me do a rim shot on command. About every time I'm ready to do it, my phone has already gone to sleep and I have to get it up and then I have to get the app going, and it's just like a 10-second delay that's too long for the joke.
Okay, we just sit there quietly at this point.
are the rods are they moving around, or are they just kind of being still on the windows?
They're moving. They're. It's like in some ways it's almost hypnotic.
Okay.
They're moving around. But now that this noise is going up top, they've kind of dissipated.
Interesting. Probably dropped off. They probably saw one of their buddies. So now we can see outside again, right? Can we
Yes.
see up onto the deck part, or can we see anything? Can we see this thing that's moving around?
And if you want to lean over and take a peek,
I don't want to really do that. Do we have any windows we can open, like outside, that would go to the outside of the boat? I'm thinking so. If we're in the cabin, like in the forward part of the boat.
I think one or two of them higher up would be open, but this close to the water, I think they would really like to do
I
that.
want to pop a flare and throw it out, track this creature or whatever it is up there. Crap, we can wait. But what's it? Were they hearing noises?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
shit.
that kind of chatter that they have.
Ah, they're like conversing. We come out with our hands up.
Got it?
We still have flares. Do flares float?
I
The-
don't.
The ones that are, I think, for emergency.
Marine, maybe? Probably?
Yeah, they probably float.
So there's probably some of those in the boat.
Definitely has some. There's probably some life preservers. There's probably
And then the boat tips.
it tips again. Yeah, we
And
need to
then-
decide quick.
And then, it just kind of balances out.
Okay, so we heard
Is
that.
there a
Are
splash?
they gone?
Oh,
So it's
splash.
gone.
Yes.
So it's gone.
But you did, your heart went to your throat for just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, so the power attracted them.
Yeah. The engine.
We need a rowboat.
Yeah. Or sailboat.
Yeah. Okay. So we poke our head back out and see if we can get back up on deck again, as it were. Can we do that?
Is there anything around still? Any more rods or
No more noise.
crabs?
Any more footprints or anything on the?
Well, I haven't gotten outside
Okay.
on the deck yet.
All right. So let's make our way to the deck now.
Okay. And
Alright.
who wants to be the grand person who gets to open up the open up the door, walk out?
I'll do it
You'll do it. Okay.
with the rifle.
With the rifle. All right. You go out, and yeah, the deck's clear.
Okay.
And you do see, wow, man, somebody needs to know how to wear some boat shoes. That's for sure.
Lots
There's
of
some
tracks.
Yeah, there's some tracks and a couple of gouging in the deck.
Gouging.
Yeah. Not huge, but I mean, still, it's like
Yeah.
good
Somebody
straight.
messed up the finish on it.
Like somebody was like one or two people were wearing spikes or something on their shoes.
Okay. Wow. So we're just kind of drifting with the current.
Yeah, and the flood's picking up a little bit more.
Are the bridges now submerged, or are we at level with them, or what can we get onto?
This point, I think, yeah, if you bumped into a bridge, you guys would be having problems.
Okay. Are there any rowboats around?
There's one actually in the yacht.
Really?
Like the dinghy.
Yeah, like the dinghy.
That's our next route. So we pack up all that we can, I think, and we jump in the dinghy, or then we start rowing.
Start rowing?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys got for your supplies that you're bringing on here?
Guns.
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 Because we're American.
We got the
Guns, everything
we got
else is fine.
First aid kits. Some,
First aid
you know,
kits, the foods that we packed,
The life preserver. Or, yeah, like the life jackets we got
Mhm.
on.
probably the whatever kind of like safety box they had on the boat that had like the flares in
There
it. First aid kit,
Scuba gear.
life jackets.
It had a fully stocked bar, so we made some Molotov cocktails.
There
Yes.
you go.
Some Molotov
Yes.
cocktails.
Uh,
I'm not kidding. Yeah, we make those.
What other good stuff they have?
Fortunately, they didn't have the stock bar as much as you.
So no Molotovs, but we do have the flares. But we have the air horn, the emergency air horn. What else would we have?
Any of you guys have navigation or anything like that?
As a skill, no.
No.
But I know the Intracoastal goes north and south.
Oh,
There's probably a compass on the boat
Yeah.
we took.
Yeah, actually, we can probably pop that right off the dash and take a look.
Yeah, sure. It's not bolted in or anything like that, like instrumentation usually is.
Well, there's usually like a digital one, but they'll also have like a one just sitting there, like the one that kind of bobbles around a little bit.
Mhm.
Just pull
But
it
that's not
off.
what we take.
You just pull it off. It's not bolted down.
Well, they're like this, and you can move them and
They're like
they
plastic. You
pivot.
just,
I hit it with the butt of the gun.
Just
it
crack
could
it
come
open,
off.
you know. Okay, all right. I'll
Yeah,
let you
we-
guys have the compass.
All right, and we're going north.
You're going north.
Okay. We're rowing.
And you're rowing. You guys taking shifts?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just all we want is steady progress. We don't necessarily need speed, and we're trying to make our way west, so toward inland as well as
Okay.
we're rowing. So I'm assuming we're going to be seeing housetops and stuff before long.
Yeah, you are. And you guys are kind of making it around the housetops. And you think, you're like, well, when is this flood going to end? When we're going to see? You keep rowing, you keep rowing, and holy crap, you know, it just
Keeps going up.
keeps going up and keeps going up.
Isn't good.
We're gonna have to row all the way to Alabama.
No.
Something like that, exactly.
Thanks, we're in trouble. Okay.
Could be worse.
But we will. Okay, so we'll just have to keep making our. We have no choice but to try to go west and north and row, like.
Okay.
And let's
Try to find
rowing.
a sailboat along the way.
Yeah, try. Yeah.
Well, you know, here and there you do see some boats. You know, but
I don't know how
they're
to
like
sail.
little rowboats. There's not really a sailboat per se. And it gets to be like later and later, and the sun's starting to set. And you hear something.
Uh-oh.
It's a motorboard, outboard motor.
Uh-oh. It's about to get nuked.
And yeah, in the distance you see somebody's driving around with like a, it's basically kind of a power boat. And he's turning around and you see in the distance, it's being chased by the flying rods.
So we're gonna like take off to the side.
Yeah, we're gonna like avoid that guy.
Yep, you can hear gunfire, he's shooting at it. Oh man, he's gonna go out in a blaze of glory. And then from out of the water, you see like light beams shooting up. Like somebody, those guys are firing from under the water. I guess if you want to have a projectile weapon that actually is effective in the ocean, something that's crazy overheated plasma will do a good job.
Wow, and there goes this guy's Swiss cheese boat.
Yeah, well, he hasn't yet. Are you guys still watching, or?
We're watching as we're continuing rowing.
Okay. Yeah, at some point, one flash hits, and then that's it. He's gone.
Vaporized or destroyed or?
Probably vaporized.
We should take 1 second.
Okay. Never mind. She's in the bathroom.
Okay, I'll figure you want to come by. So that's the end of him, and we continue
Yep.
on our merry way. So
Yes.
any kind of power boats, these things totally, any kind of noise really, these things are attracted to. So we just keep rowing. We don't really have much of a choice there.
Yeah, it seems like you're getting a trade-off. Either you get something that's unpowered that leaves you open to the elements, or you get something that's powered that then you're enclosed and safe. So you're either taking your odds getting fired at or getting stung to death. Take your pick, right?
Yeah, take your pick between.
Which risk you want to take.
Yeah.
And I think at this point I can safely say that being cagey, sticking to the rowboat, you guys basically bump into some other survivors, and together you all figure out how you can get yourselves rowed to safety.
Yes. So we survived the end of the world.
You survive the invasion.
The invasion of the Atlantean.
You're one of the survivors' refugees, so it's not like the entire. It's not like the entire world has been. It's the apocalypse of the civilization, not the world itself.
The invasion of the sea octopus crab people. Okay, cool, we did it. I knew I could make it out of Florida alive. One way or another.
Congratulations! Woo!
I really did it to live a terrible life.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like go to Colorado or something.
Exactly. So there you go, guys. We have 3 survivors.
Woo! We made it.
I figured out it was much easier to just abandon anything that put out electronics or a loud noise, and just slow and steady won the race to survive a world where the Atlanteans now rule the land as well as the sea.
Atlantean. That's
I knew they were freaks from the sea. I just knew it.
So I'm sorry that this doesn't end on the kind of crazy high note the other one did, but dude, it's the end of the world. All right, so hope you had fun. Take care. Good gaming, and again, from the Nerd Extravaganza podcast at the Adventure Game Store. Bye.
See you in Denver, our new home.
Now you know who survived the end of the world. We had a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd want to do something like this as an ongoing campaign. It would have to be a lot more structured and take a lot more prep to do. And sometimes when you approach a one-shot and try to turn it into a campaign, it's a little bit like the caterpillar thinking, how do I walk? You know, you overanalyze things, you kind of kill some of the spontaneity that made the one-shot fun. A perfect example of this I had once was, we had a great fantasy one-shot with pre-gens, everybody enjoyed it, and then we turned it to a campaign, everybody started looking over price lists, buying things. So something that was promising and seemed kind of magical as a one-shot kind of nosedived right into being your standard fantasy fare. We still had fun, we still played the campaign, but overall, the rest of it didn't have that same awesome feeling that we were making something off the top of our heads and it was great compared to, oh, here we go, it's another fantasy campaign dungeon crawl. And don't assume that I'm picking on the fantasy genre. I've seen plenty of modern genre games kind of nosedive into the minutia, and that stole the inertia out of the game. And I've done quite a few modern or pulp-style games, and I like some of the advantages that has. You don't have to really be asking for prices or trying to figure out what a dwarf's culture is like, because you kind of fill in a lot of spaces. On the flip side, your players know a lot about the world too, and everybody is an expert. So unless you're really sure you can counterfact what they're saying, sometimes you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And that bit of knowledge, or confidence in that knowledge, means you have to improv quite a bit more. Some GMs are comfortable with that. I'm okay with it. Another bit I thought that I liked at the end, one of the parts I did plan was that difficult choice scenario. Now, admittedly, I'm sure somebody out there has thought, oh, I know a low-tech way of getting somebody across the water or across the land and still be undercover with an off-the-shelf vehicle of some sort. Because, to be honest, you could kit bash anything with enough determination and time. But those difficult choices are, to some degree, the heart of what makes a lot of RPGs, especially ones set in the modern era, tick. It keeps the players engaged, gets them working and talking with each other. It provides another opportunity to do something other than just combat. That's why I think in modern role-playing that a lot of the old-school puzzles you'd be familiar with if you watched a lot of the Harry Potter movies, what do we do with this chessboard, have been replaced with a here's the situation, come up with a solution style gaming. I'm pretty sure I made a few mistakes that I could improve for my next gaming session. Probably the one thing that stuck out, particularly because it was the very last thing we did, was I was sitting there kind of still giving speeches and going on and on, describing things. So towards the end, that interaction was kind of dying off. Maybe that's a necessary evil as you try to do the denouement of an RPG event, but still, I would have liked to have a little more interaction in there somewhere, somehow. Well, I hope you've enjoyed Season 2 of our RPG series. Please drop us a line, let us know what you think. We'd like to do more. And if you tell us that you like them, that'll motivate us to keep doing them. So, good luck with your own games, have fun, and good gaming.